Probably one of the most out-of-control question times that we've had in Parliament. A real bottler, one of the most out-of-control question times in parliamentary history. Just to get a little snapshot and get the juices flowing, here's some of it.
And they now seek to criticise those who want to get on with the job.
On a point of order, the member for Greenlaw.
Yes, Madam Speaker. On relevance, the Minister was asked why he cut funding for projects that had a high...
The member will resume his seat. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call. The member will resume his seat.
There was yelling, there was chanting, there was sweat, there was ideology flying all around the place. But thankfully, there is one thing that they are all supporting, and it is the fight against the death penalty that will be carried out soon in Indonesia. Andrew Chan, Myuran and Sukumaran being killed by the Indonesian government. They were caught. Yes, they should have been. They were convicted. Yes, they should have been. They were locked up. Yes, they should have been. But they have been working for the last 10 years to become people that their parents can be proud of, so now they get killed. As in, congratulations on your rehabilitation, Andrew and Myuran. Now, here's your blindfold. Thankfully, our politicians are not fighting each other. They are pointing a message towards the Indonesian government. This is what the Foreign Minister said.
Both families have told me they're proud of the men their sons have become. And while I'm sure in their hearts they'd like nothing better than to see them home, Andrew and Myuran's home now is prison. As Michael Chan told me, in Kerabokan they have a quality of life, not one that we would choose, but they have so much more that they can contribute to their work in this prison. I believe it is Indonesia that will lose the most from executing these two young men.
Gee, that was a good point. She spoke beautifully in Parliament today, Julie Bishop. She really did. And Shadow Minister Tanya Plibersek did equally as well, backing up the Minister on this. And what's more, for the Shadow Foreign Minister, it is personal business.
In 1988, my husband left prison after being charged and convicted of a similar crime to these young men. And I imagine what would have happened if he'd been caught in Thailand instead of in Australia, where that crime was committed, where he was coming back to Australia. And I think about, I didn't know him at the time, this is 30 years ago, what would the world have missed out on? Well, they would have missed out on the 3 beautiful children that we've had together. They would have missed out on a man who spent the rest of his life making amends for the crime that he committed.
The Shadow Foreign Minister, Tanya Plibersek, referring to her husband, Michael Coates-Trotter, who is a senior public servant who has been working in the field of education. I've never met Michael Coates-Trotter. I've met people that have, and they say he is a ripper of a bloke and a ruddy good public servant. But had he have been caught in Indonesia for that crime, he would have been killed. And as the Shadow Minister said, we wouldn't have had our 3 lovely kids, and he wouldn't have had all those decades trying to help people. He is, in fact, the Secretary of the New South Wales Department of Family and Community Services. They don't put dingbat drug dealers in jobs like that. And as has been said, Chris Bowen, the Shadow Treasurer, on Q&A the other night, I thought was terrific, and the words that he said, which is these are the poster guys. These are the guys you would stick on a poster for rehabilitation. I mean, is this not what it is all about? If you get people that have done bad things, you put them in prison, and when they get out of prison, they are better people. Is that not the way it works? It just makes you sick what is about to happen. And from everything we have seen, the chances of the messages of Tanya Plibersek, Chris Bowen, Julie Bishop and many others will not ring in the ears of the Indonesian government. The chance of this getting through to them is 0. This is another one of those things that break the heart. But we have to try. We've got to try. That's all we've got left, is to try. And I also feel like there's a real urgency that is kicking in here from the government and the opposition. I think this thing is going to happen a hell of a lot quicker than what we thought.